Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning here in Northern England. Tilly's with me at the moment because there's someone behind me who has a dog, so just to avoid temptation. So what I want to talk about regarding the Summer Wells case this morning is a couple of things. Not going to talk about the debacle with Rose Bly that's been going on over the last few days. You know, is Rose alive? Is she not? Candus has been asked that question by Ernie, so we'll briefly touch on that. We'll briefly touch on Candus being sick, but then I want to just take us to that possibility. I know it's an uncomfortable possibility, it's an impossible possibility in many people's minds, but yet it still is the possibility that the parents are innocent. They're not innocent of having a dysfunctional life, a toxic relationship, a completely unsatisfactory way to bring up their children, certain elements of neglect, but are they really guilty of what happened to Summer? They're still the top of my suspect list, I've got to tell you. After all this time, after 10 months, there's so many red flags. There's so many ifs, whats, maybes. There's so many things that just can't be ignored in relation to the day itself, in relation to the way that Don and Candus have behaved since. None of it can be ignored. So, yep, the parents are still the top of my suspect list. I'm not a Wells sympathiser, as some people seem to say, and I certainly have not discounted them. But there's someone else on top of my suspect list as well, so I'm going to talk about him. I've talked about him at some length on this channel, but not very recently. 2 months ago now, I did several videos on this character, but it has come up in my Facebook group that some people don't know, never heard of him. So it's worth just going through that again. So before we get into that, there's a stark reminder of how difficult cases are to bring to trial, you know, to be tried by a jury. Just how difficult that is. Some of you will have seen the news, the surprise, shocking news that came out yesterday, that Barry Morphew's case has been dismissed just 10 days before it was due to go to trial. And I've been following the Barry Morphew case for the longest time. I've done a couple of videos on this channel about him, and I am going to be doing a members only live stream about the Barry Morphew case and the case dismissal, going through the case, what does it mean, and that'll be for my members only. My members, very loyal. I don't give you guys many perks. I have kept intending to do more members only lives, and this is a good time. So it will be a live stream that's visible only to members. And if you are a member of this channel, you will see a link to that live stream in the community tab, in the members only community tab. I don't know whether you'll get a notification as a reminder, as it's not public on the channel. I don't know how that works for YouTube. So go to the link in the members only community tab. It's scheduled for 7 PM UK time. I might be a little bit late, so I'll confirm that later in the members only community. I think it's going to be 7, but it might be a little bit later than that. So that's coming up later for members. Alright, so to Candus. As I said, I'm not going to discuss the debacle as to whether Rose Bly, Candus's sister, is alive or not. I said all I needed to say yesterday. I've got nothing more to say on the matter. But Ernie, in a conversation with Candus, like a phone call that is released. I'm very uncomfortable about this being released at all, and I'm not going to play the whole call. I'll leave a link to Ernie's live stream in the description box. The call comes about 35 minutes or so into that live stream. A few people have played it on clip channels, so you may already have heard the whole thing anyway. His first question was, did we take you hostage? Because that's been going round the rumour mill, that Ernie and pals took Candus hostage. She says no, they didn't. She sounded drunk. She said she was sick. She certainly was sick. It sounded like she was actually being sick. A drunken kind of sick, or is she sick with an illness, or what? I'm concerned that Candus is going to kill herself, like, you know, non-intentionally. And I don't want that to happen, because if she is guilty, if either her or Don die, what does it mean for Summer? It means we'll probably never get answers, never get justice. So I certainly don't want to see her drink herself to death. Let's put that one on the table. In terms of Rose Bly, he asked her, is Rose alive? And she said this.
Do you know what everybody's saying about, listen, Rose Bly?
What about her? Ugh.
Is she alive still, Candus?
Look out, look out.
How do I effing know? Oh dear. Allegedly, she's gone fishing, and she said this.
What have you done to yourself?
Look,
What have you done?
all I've done was go fishing. All I've done is stay on the ground. That's all I've done.
She's staying on the ground. It's good to know, Candus. You're staying on the ground. So you're not going to, I don't know, sail off into the lake. I don't know where she was while she was fishing. At least she's going to stay on the ground. That's good to know in her current state. Good to know. But guys, we do have to contemplate the possibility that the family are innocent. That not only do they know nothing whatsoever about Rose Bly's disappearance, and after a lot of investigation in private on my part, I don't believe they're involved either. Could be wrong. As I said yesterday, I've got a theory on what happened to Rose, but I'm not going to talk about it today. I may or may not talk about it in the future, but I have my own theory. But likewise, we have to contemplate the possibility that the family know nothing about what happened to Summer. And the only lies that Candus is telling are exactly what she did during that 3-hour time gap. There has been a lot of conversation, as I mentioned the other day, about the milk jugs photo and the accidental video not being taken on the 15th of June. I think they were, for the reasons I highlighted the other day. I would have thought that law enforcement would have interrogated them, or at least Candus, to within an inch of her life if one or more of those images were not actually taken on that day. And she's lying about key pieces of proof of life of Summer. But that hasn't happened. So again, as I said the other day, it leads me to believe that they were indeed taken on the 15th of June. We know the location. It's on Lone Star Road, just past the intersection of Lone Star with Murrell Road, and it's around 7-8 minutes away from home. Taken at 3:09, according to Candus and her conversation with the channel Unmasked, and that is as much as we know. But law enforcement knows So let's just assume, as Detective John Pruitt said, that all the electronic investigations came to nothing and they're not much further forward, that indeed was taken 3:09 or thereabouts on the 15th of June. What if the only thing... Hello. What if the only thing that Candus is lying about is what she did during that 3-hour period? That she left the hill twice. Fred Hill saw her. Can we believe Fred? I don't know. Jodie Sue heard what she thought is the Suburban going up the driveway around 5:30. And then she saw Candus again around 6:09 coming down the driveway, this time in Grandma's truck, supposedly looking for Summer. So it's quite possible she left the hill twice. Was she looking for Summer all that time? And the only lie is that, you know, when they say she'll never wander away, blah, 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 and then Don gives it all away with some of the things he says. You know, she's an outdoor person. That was her downfall. That kind of stuff that leaks some truth. Jose said that she wanders away. Don Sherfy Sr. said she wanders away. Are they lying? Maybe. Jodie Sue, alternatively, says she never seen Summer down on Ben Hill Road or heard her down on Ben Hill Road. But that doesn't mean to say 100% that she never wandered off the hill. So that has to be a possibility, and Candus has lied because she doesn't want Don and law enforcement to know just how long she wasn't attending to her 5-year-old daughter. That she may have been out and about for 2 hours before they realised that she was actually missing. What was Candus doing in that time? Drinking, maybe? I don't know. Sleep, maybe? Oh, yeah, incidentally, I saw live between Voices Behind the Wall and Benny and Shannon. So Benny's a YouTuber, Shannon isn't a YouTuber as far as I know, but she befriended Candus, and she's the one on the photograph that Robin took of them when they were all there on the hill. Don's not there because allegedly he was off on a coke bender, a coke and ladies of the night bender at the time. Anyway, I digress. Shannon says she saw a pill bottle on the table when she was there in January. She saw a pill bottle with the date 15th of June saying Hara, and she couldn't read the whole drug name, but she thought it said hydrocodone, which is an opiate. It's not as strong as morphine or heroin, but I think it's stronger than codeine. It's convenient that that was there on the table. I mean, come on, like January, that would have been 7 months later. Had they really not cleared the table for 7 months? You know, why was a pill bottle on the kitchen table? And I can't say I believe it. If Shannon isn't lying, then I don't know. Seems like a plant or something. I just think that story's really dodgy, but I know some people are talking about it, so there you go. Because that feeds into the narrative that Candy Hara was given opioids for her knee problem when she went to the ER. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. The injection she got was likely a corticosteroid, I would imagine. Whether she was given additional pills, well, we know she was given something because she went to pick up a prescription. Opiates, generally not given, honestly. Things like joint pain don't respond that well to opiates. You know, you're better with anti-inflammatories. But this drug might be an anti-inflammatory with hydrocodone in it. because there are some pills of that nature. Could be that. And it plays into this narrative that Summer ate one or more of Grandma's pills. Possible. That's why we can't discount the involvement of the parents. We can't discount the other stories that have come out, you know, allegedly from Grandma via a friend, that Summer was unwell, Candus took her to Don, and then Summer was never seen again. That's an alternative story to the established script that we all know and want to tear our hair out when we hear it. Maybe it was too late and Don discarded the body. What if that happened? Yeah, what if it did? But what if it didn't? So the other person on my suspect list is somebody called Don Sherfy Jr. He is currently in the system, but he's not a convicted SO. When Don Sherfy Sr. spoke a while ago on this, he said that his son, Sherfy Jr., had not been interviewed by the police. He's been missed because he's not a registered SO yet, and he doesn't live in the immediate vicinity. He lives several miles away, just outside of Kingsport. Yes, he lives on the same road as Megan Boswell, but it's a very long road and they live at opposite ends of it. I did a video on any possible connections between the Sherfys and the Boswells a few weeks ago. I can't find a connection, but just saying, they do live on the same road, but it's like 2-3 miles away from each other. Probably know each other by sight, I don't know. Anyhow, Don Sherfy Sr. is the long-term boyfriend of someone who lives on Simpson Road. She lives there with her mother. Her mother is the sister of now deceased William Goad. William Goad is the person who used to live at 110 Ben Hill Road until his death in 2007. After which time his wife, Karen Hazel Goad, inherited it. Karen Hazel Goad, who was originally Karen Hazel Everts, then she was Karen Hazel Wells, then she was Karen Hazel Kelly, and finally she was Karen Hazel Goad. That's Don's mother. That's how Don came to acquire 110 Ben Hill Road, via his mother, when she died in 2011. So my question, as I've talked about in several videos, is would it be possible that Don Sherfy Jr. was at Simpson Road at his step grandmother's house? Or was he hiding out in on her property, but unbeknownst to her? We know there are close connections between Mary Goad, that's Don Sherfy Sr.'s kind of mother-in-law, even though they're not legally married, and Don Wells, because it's his step-aunt. We know that their families know each other. Don Sherfy Sr. has actually said that before Candus and Don started to go to the SDA church, they went to the same Baptist church as his girlfriend, the daughter of Mary Goad, and Summer used to like her. Summer used to lie in church with her head in her lap. There's no way in the world that the Sherfys would not have known Summer. So is it possible that Don Sherfy Jr. had something to do with Summer's disappearance? Maybe one final hurrah. You know, he thought he was going down and he wanted to play out a fantasy. Horrible to say, but in my mind, it is very, very possible. It's just as possible as many of the scenarios that some people talk about in relation to Don and Candus. It's actually much more realistic than some of those ideas, I've got to say. Could he have been there that day? And what are his charges? Why has he not been convicted yet? Well, he was arrested in May 2021, just a month before Summer disappeared, and he has 14 counts sitting on his record currently. So General Sessions in August, he was bound over to a grand jury, August 2021, and then those counts still sit there. He's still out on bond. We don't believe he's got an ankle tag, but no, I don't think anyone's sure. An ankle tag would serve as an alibi. He appeared in court just a couple of weeks ago, and that was continued. I think his next date is in July. And those 14 charges include 4 charges of aggravated exploitation and 10 counts of possession of child P. Each one of those 10 charges includes more than 100 images. So he was in possession of over 1,000 images of child P. Nobody could tell me that it's not possible that he could have played out a fantasy on a kid that maybe he knew wandered, that he'd been watching. No one can tell me that that isn't possible. Nothing in this world could tell me that that isn't possible. Is it probable? I don't know. Certainly feels to me more probable than some of the wild theories people come up with. But it certainly lets Don and Candus off the hook in terms of what happened to Summer. Doesn't completely let Candus off the hook because she's lied. Surely she could get done for obstruction of justice. I don't know. Because if we bring it right back to what I said in the beginning about Barry Morphew's case being dismissed, as I'll discuss tonight with my members, it's so difficult to bring a case where there's no body. You have to have rock solid evidence. And it felt to me when I heard the contents of the arrest affidavit and just the amount of digital evidence they've got, I thought, yeah, sounds like there is enough circumstantial evidence. But a good defence team can argue against circumstantial evidence. They can argue all day and all night about it. And with no body, that's a problem. So Barry's case has been dismissed, but it gives us a key message for the Summer Wells case, in that all this circumstantial evidence of lies and this, that, the other, it doesn't mean much when we're talking about legal charges. It really doesn't mean much. The case has to be rock solid. And at the moment, law enforcement do not have that. Hopefully they've got more than they're saying, but we don't know that for sure. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Let me know your thoughts in the usual place. I'll see you guys, if you remember, later on today in the Barry Morphew live stream. And I'll see you in the next video. So it's goodbye from Miss Cassie Springer and Miss Tillington. Bye guys.